Hey everyone, it's Jerry coming to you from the Rythmia Life Advancement Center in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. What is Rythmia? It's a life advancement center where we bring about something called a soul merger or a soul reclamation. We use ayahuasca, farm-to-table organic food, metaphysical teachings, yoga, breath work, meditation, and this amazing thing happens called a soul merger, which changes the rest of your life. How do I know? Well, almost 18,000 people have been through our doors. 98.85% claim that they had a life-changing miracle during their stay. The better part of it, at 6 months, 90.22% say that this was the week that changed their life. What kind of people come to Rythmia? All kinds. On our board of directors, we have the greatest surfer of all time, Kelly Slater. We have Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer. We have Joe Biden's brother, Frank. We have Tony Coe, the entrepreneur. We have Earl Koski, the entrepreneur. We have Ron White, the comedian. We have Jack Canfield, author of Chicken Soup of the Soul. How did all these people come to be here? They came because we have Michael Bernard Beckwith, the founder of the Agape Spiritual Center in Los Angeles. Martin Luther King's son, Martin, is on our board. These people do not get paid. They joined because of what this program did for them. We get actors, actresses, musicians, business people, athletes of all descriptions, and normal people just like me and you come here to have this amazing thing happen. Well, what happens? Well, we believe that sometime between when you were conceived and about 6 years old, something happened that jarred you a little bit from your soul. And the merger, and that this soul ego thing happens, and the merger is when it comes back together, and it is a life changer. It's a life changer. And it is no picnic. This is the hardest week's work you will ever do in your life. It's you throw up, you go to the bathroom, you cry, you have to learn, you have to go through all these processes. It is not easy. It is hard. It's super hard, but it's so worth it because the rest of your life is forever changed, forever changed. And here's the thing with it. That once this soul merger happens, then a new ceremony is started. The overwhelming vast majority of people, once they have this happen, decide they want to be a beneficial presence on the planet. And they get a new lodestar, a new idea of how they're going to become that. And the bigger the idea, the harder and longer it's going to take. So when they start out with this thing, you have this experience, you speak to God, God speaks to you, and you say, that's it. I understand that this life is such a gift, and because it's such a gift, I want to give back to it in the form of this. Now, the greater that thing is, and the more, the bigger it is, the harder it's going to be, and the longer it's going to take. But the greater the benefits to you and those around you. So that's this thing. And once that starts, that then becomes your ceremony for the rest of your life. That is your ceremony to get to this place. How long does it usually take? I always say I deal with 10-year overnight successes. So it takes on average about 10 years. Some people that are here, it has taken 30 years. But the journey is the ceremony. So if you look at your life before this soul merger, there was disappointment, upsetment, unfulfilled. There was nothing you could do to fill this hole. There was not enough alcohol to drink. There was not enough shopping to do. There was not enough of this or enough of that. Nothing could satiate you. Once this happens, the whole journey satiates you. You're walking in a fulfilled manner towards this new place. You're ever evolving, but you're walking in a fulfilled manner towards this place. And what a beautiful journey it is. What a beautiful journey it is. So my message to you, what happens a lot, is that people have this experience here and they go home and they say, oh, so what are the various ways you can become a beneficial presence on the planet? Well, every way. You can be a better investment banker, a better mortgage broker. You can start a restaurant with healing foods. You can become a healer yourself. You can become an author or a workshop host or a coach, or there's a better massage therapist, a better plumber. There's a million ways to become a beneficial presence on the planet. It's in how you do the thing that you do. So it's in what you do and how you do it. Now, a lot of people are 30, 40, 50, 60 years old. They have this thing happen and they go home and they say, I finally got it. This is what I want to be. And everybody around them tells them they can't do it. All of the well-meaning friends that have seen them fail 50 times before tell them that they can't do it. Uncle Larry, my mom, my dad, the guy next door, my old boss, my current boss, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my husband, my wife, my neighbor, my close friends say, look, I watched you fail so many times. You just shouldn't do it. You're not a singer, or you're not a healer, or you're not a cook or a chef. You shouldn't own a restaurant. You shouldn't do this. All of them are well-meaning. They all are well-meaning. The hardest time in this process is from when you get the lodestar to when you start it, because all the people who have seen you miss before are going to tell you you can't do it. And what I'm going to tell you is that the medicine, the ayahuasca, God, whatever your interpretation of God is or your understanding of God, doesn't give a darn about how many times you failed, how many mistakes you made. As a matter of fact, what's beautiful about this process, and I've seen, we're about 100 people away from 18,000 people, right? I've seen tens of thousands go through this, and their past failures actually help them into the new thing. Because all of that was experience. All of it, the whole of it. So the hardest part is from when you have this thing happen and you finally get it and you're in sync, you're picking the thing that you want to be a lodestar, or that how you want to become a beneficial presence from a merged part of yourself. So it's rock solid. From the day you decide to the day you start is the risk period. That's the point of highest risk, because some people get told this beautiful thing to do while they're on the medicine, and it's about 2% get home and talk themselves out of it. There's no way I could have started this chain of restaurants. There's no way that I could have been this great healer. There's no way that and friends and loving family precipitated their giving up on that dream. So what I'm going to tell you is that none of it matters. That once this happens, you're officially a different person than you were before. People see people that are involved in like a rythmia type program, and people who drink plant medicine or who do breath work every day or whatever. Those people are not the same from month to month because they're constantly changing and evolving. So when this big one happens and you're here, you're no longer the person you were. The person that failed was a different person. The person that used to fall down was a different person. The person that used to give up on their dreams was a different person. You are a new and different person, And I'm going to tell you what, you know it. You know it. You don't think it. You don't feel it. It's not a kind of. You know it. And within a very short time of your knowing it, when you stop defending it and you start acting it, everybody around you sees it, and now they're convinced. They're convinced. And that is the process of rythmia. That is it. So when it happens and you go home and everybody's trying to help you by talking you out of your journey, just tell them no. Simple. No. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Right? And in the beginning, you might not be so sure, but as you take those steps are reaffirming steps, right? Towards that thing. I'm going to tell you something. I was a successful business guy. I wasn't a billionaire or anything like that, but I sold company for $90 million, which is something. And when the medicine told me to do this business, for the next month, I almost talked myself out of it. I think, who am I, a little business guy that had a lot of bad habits? Who am I to take on something like this? I'm not good enough, that. And I was never in spiritual business. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to screw this up. I'm the wrong guy. I'm done. But I kept going. And once I started, there's no turning back. So I'm going to tell you the critical point is from when you get back to when you start. And if you're thinking about coming here, I want to tell you that the you that you know, you're only going to know from now until the time you get here. Because the new you is inside there, dying to get out as a merged person on a new quest or a new adventure. That's what's dying. And when I say that, if your soul perks up, it's because it's waiting for you to acknowledge that that is your truth. So please, by all means, understand that if you're being called to come here, if you've been here before and you've acquired some new junk that you want to get rid of and you're being called, come here. Because there is no feeling like this feeling. There's not. And if you came here, if you're one of the 2%, you came here before, you got the download, you got the message, you got the thing, and then you decided not to do it, come back and start again. Come back and start again, and this time do it. That is my message for today, and it's a real one. I want you to hear it and feel it. By all means, if you're going to come here, the right time to come here is now. We have 100 people next week. Next week is not the right time, the week after. But the time to come is now, because the time for you to step into fulfillment and contentment is now. Now, if your soul heard this, come and see me. Until I see you and until next week, God keep you, God bless you.